Hello. We're here, you're here, I'm here, we're here together. Can we just take a moment to like appreciate who you are? Can you like hug yourself and just be like, bitch, I love you. I might not like you on some days, but I do love you. Yo, what's up? My name is Shani Tran and I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor, but that is actually irrelevant to today's video. What we are talking about today are the things that I wish I knew before giving birth for the first time. I have 2 children. I've had 2 births. The first one, it was a little bit traumatic. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. So much so that it almost prevented me from having a second child. And this is the video that I wish I had before going and giving birth to my first child. I've got my list because, honey, let me tell you, I've been thinking about making this video. I made this video a long time ago on a previous channel that I had. Don't worry, don't search it. It don't exist anymore. My dumb ass went ahead and deleted it. I deleted that channel. Yes, I did. Yes, I regret it, but that's not why you're here. We're gonna talk about the things that I wish I knew before giving birth. Let's jump into it. Number 1. These are also in no particular order. I just want to state that we're not going from like, no, we're just jumping right in. The first thing that I wanted to say is that I wish that I would have known that you may not bond with your child right away. For some reason, I feel as if it's just this thing that when you give birth, because you're the person, can I also say that this video is for people that carry child? It is I don't know if it's a myth, but I feel like there's a stigma around the fact that if you carry the child to term and you don't bond with it. There's a lot of things that happen when you give birth, right? Like, can we just be honest? It's a lot going on. And yes, you want that little human being to be okay, but also at the same time, you might not be okay. And I feel like when I brought my second child home from the hospital, I struggled mentally so much from just like giving birth that I felt I wasn't in the capacity to bond with the child. Like, I knew I was supposed to bond, but I was just like, yo, you are a whole ass human being. I know nothing about you, nothing. I don't even know if you like me. On top of that, you need a lot from me. I don't even know you like that. You need me to feed you, wipe your ass. You need me to do everything. If you want to watch TV, if you want to go outside, you need me to pick you up and take you outside with me. If I want to go do something like grab a bite to eat, you got to come with me, and I don't even know you like that. I feel like when I brought my second daughter home from the hospital, it was an adjustment because I had 1 child. We also had just bought our house, and there are so many things going on that I was just like, I need to get to know who you are. As a matter of fact, before I even get to know who you are, I got to figure out who I am in this new phase of my life. So my capacity to bond with my child wasn't necessarily all to do with the child. It was a lot to do with me. And I feel like that's not something that is talked about enough, that you may carry this human for 9-10 months. Yes, that's right. The birthing process is actually roughly 10 months. And you might not even like them right away. The next thing that I want to talk about was something that threw me completely for a loop, because I don't feel like I remember hearing this from anywhere, and that is postpartum anxiety. Hold on. I feel like some of y'all gonna watch this and be like, Shani, thank you for mentioning it. But I feel like what is talked about a lot is postpartum depression. The anxiety that I had when I brought my second child home from the hospital is any unmatched anxiety that I've ever had in my entire life. First of all, I know the things that sort of like exacerbated this anxiety. When you're in the hospital, you see all these posters about SIDS and not falling asleep with your baby, like making sure you put your baby somewhere safe. And so I saw this whenever I would get up from the hospital bed and go into the restroom. It was a big ass poster right there. And I remember just thinking, okay, don't fall asleep. My baby's gonna die. If I fall asleep with my baby's gonna die. SIDS can kill my baby, and I don't know why. I ain't got no control over it. And I remember just feeling so anxious that I just went through all this work to like build this human being. Yes, I had fun putting down the foundation, but actually building the human being, that was a lot of work. And then bringing this human being into life, and then for them to up and pass away over something that I feel I have no control over, anxious. How am I gonna control my thoughts around not having control over that? When I came home from the hospital, do you know, I put my daughter in a bassinet in the living room. I refused to sleep in my room. And I put her in the living room, in the center of the living room. I would sleep on the couch like this. I would tuck the blankets under me just to make sure that if the blanket somehow fell off the couch, a gust of wind came and blew it over the bassinet and a part of it fell over my baby's face. And then to top that off, what I would do is I would wake up like every hour and just like feel her chest to make sure it's rising. And then not just to make sure it's rising, not just that, because my brain was like, Shani, we ain't thinking rational right now. We're gonna go all irrational for these first couple of months because we really want you to be on high alert. That's what my brain was doing. If her breathing was more rapid or slower, I would even get more anxious. So then I would sit there and wait and watch her to make sure that her breathing went back to a normal pace. I would find myself Googling in the middle of the night, what is a normal pace for a baby to breathe? And I did not sleep at all. And I'm not talking about not sleeping because I had a newborn baby, like, you know, the baby stuff, getting up, feeding them, changing them. No, that was the easy not sleep. I would not sleep because I had so much anxiety. On top of that, I was worried about the air quality. Yes, y'all know when you get them alerts on your phone and they're like, air quality alert, alert. I was like, oh my God, the air quality is coming for me and my baby, it's coming for me. On top of that, if my baby at all rolled over, which she could not do in the bassinet because they're so small and the bassinet's so small, but if I would see her trying to roll over, I was like, nah, baby, you gotta stay on your back. Here's the other thing that also made me anxious. So when they're newborns, their clothes don't really fit right. So I would be super anxious that her little nose would get caught in like the little onesie thing. And then I would swallow her. And I was worried that the swaddle, because I had like the Velcro type swaddle, that the Velcro type swaddle would like come off and a gust of wind would come and it would be right here. My baby can't over her nose. Then the part that really, really like tripped me out is I struggled with like, okay, I'm not producing enough breast milk. And I know that breast milk is like healthy for the baby, but I gotta feed her formula. So like, am I a failure for her to develop because I can't produce breast milk? Which segue into the next thing that I wish that I know is that breast milk might be best for baby, but breast milk ain't best for me. I was not producing enough milk. On top of that, you're adjusting to having an infant in your home who's not sleeping, you're not sleeping. And then the last thing that I wanted to have was the feeling like a failure as a mother because I can't breastfeed my child. And I remember with my first child, I went through that. I went through the fact of like going to see the lactician. They're like, yes, she's latching. You just got to keep at it. You got to do this with like the foods to produce more milk. And I was like, look, that's not what's best for me. I'm adjusting in this time. And I really wish that people talked about this more. Everyone's so concerned about, excuse my French because I feel very strongly about this. Everyone's so concerned about the baby that they forget about how the mother is actually doing. Breast might be best for the baby, but breast milk ain't best for me. The time when I would produce the most milk was in the middle of the night. I would get up when my baby was sleeping, y'all, and I would pump in my living room at 2 a.m. in the morning, tired, because that was when my breast milk came in. And I remember I would just pump. When I say that's when it came in, that's when I would get like maybe 4 ounces. And I remember just sitting there crying. And I wish that someone had told me that it's okay to switch to formula, that it's okay to start out and go straight to formula, because that is an option. And babies grow up being just as healthy as they do with breastfed babies. All right, if you're a new mom or you're pregnant, I feel like you really need to hear this one because ain't nobody tell me this. There might be a time in your birth plan, no matter. Go on ahead, shred that piece of paper. When you're in the hospital, shh. Like, what's the sound of a shredder? Come on. Just put it in the shredder. I'm gonna tell you why. There was this huge emphasis in my birthing class about a birth plan, and I don't even know if this is still a thing anymore. And it was like, how do you wanna feel? What type of meals do you want? What do you want to happen when you're in the hospital? I don't get a say, because what ends up mattering in the hospital is what's gonna be best for the lives of the baby and the mom. So I had this hypno birthing plan, right? I took this hypno birthing class where I was like, ooh, yes, I'm gonna meditate. Baby's gonna slip out like, yes, hi world. and I'm gonna be sitting there like I did it, an all natural birth. I meditated. That was a lie. As a matter of fact, I was laboring in the birthing tub, and I'll never forget that my cervix was not dilating enough, and they were like, hey, you got to get out the birthing tub, and we actually got to send you home. And I was like, oh, I pulled up my birth plan. I was like, nah, that ain't on the birth plan, ma'am. Nurse, ain't nothing on my birth plan about sending me home. I'm supposed to labor in the tub, hypnobirth, give birth in the tub in the water. Ain't nothing about sending me home. And I felt so defeated. I felt so defeated because things didn't go according to plan. I then came back to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, you're not dilating enough. We're actually gonna send you back home. And I was like, this was the second time. I was like, well, what's the point of a birth plan? Because what ended up happening is I ended up needing an epidural. I was in labor for like 4 days and ended up pushing for 3 hours. Hypnobirth where? Who? So that birth plan that you have, it's okay going in with the potential of a plan, but know that things might change. Now with my second birth, I'm not gonna lie. I went in and I was like, yo, I know what's up. Give me the epidural. Go ahead, hit me right here. I was like, but before you do it, let me get my meal in. I'm one of those weird people. I like hospital food. Don't come for me, don't judge me. I don't even think it's about the food itself. I think it's about the service. Like the fact that I can be in my room and be like, yo, can I get 2 pieces of toast with a little bit of butter? Let me also get some pancakes. I also want some eggs. I want a soft scramble. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the fact that I can like be catered to. But if I'm being completely honest, something that I wish someone had told me is that the epidural can have long-term impact on your back. I still have, you can see where my epidural was given. I have a scar from it. And right after I got out of the hospital with my first child, I've had back pain ever since. And it's always in the spot where I got the epidural. And I've even had to be in physical therapy for it. I had to do back stretches for it. I refuse to take medication for it, just simply for the fact of I can keep up with like exercise, and I'm gonna be honest, I know I have an addictive personality, and I ain't trying to be on meds like that. Not those type of medications. There are some other medications I like, but that's for another day. With that being said, I wish that someone had told me that yes, even if you need and want the epidural, there are some long-term effects from it. Like I feel like the anesthesiologist coming in as he's going through the potential side effects while I'm laboring, he should also be like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know you could have long-term back pain. I didn't know this until I was actually having a conversation with another mother, and I was like, yeah, ever since I've had my epidural, I have really, really bad back pain. And she's like, shut up, me too. All right, I hope this video helped some mother out there and or partner be able to help the person that is carrying your child, because there are just a lot of things that going into the birthing experience that we aren't aware of, and it can be sort of like a trial and error type thing. And it's one of those things that bringing a human life into this world is definitely, I'm not gonna say the most rewarding, because there are other rewarding things out there for me. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that, yep. But it is a rewarding experience, and it is something that I wish that I had more knowledge about so that I can make educated decisions about my own health and also the health of my baby. I wanna thank y'all so much for watching. You made it here, and I hope that you gained something from this video. It could have been a laugh, it could have been something educational. I want you to know that I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.